Hello caramel enthusiasts. Today we're going to be making a bread pudding using BarbaryBrix caramel. Let's get started. Alright, time to cube our bread. I like to use challah. I got some from Semi Freddy's, an Alameda bakery, which is nearby. But any soft bread will work. Brioche is good too. So there's no rhyme or reason to doing this. You can do it however it works for you, and it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to try to go for 3/4 of an inch to 1 inch thick cubes. So just cube these bad boys up and put them aside. They're going to get ready to go right in the oven. Holla! Got our fresh, soft bread from Semi Freddy's. It's laid out in a single sheet on a baking pan. It's going to go into a 325-degree oven for 15 minutes so we can just get it dried out a little bit and ready for the pudding. Okay, first things first, we are going to scrape our vanilla bean pod. Okay, so these, straight from the BarbaryBrix kitchen, is a fair trade organic bourbon vanilla bean from Madagascar. So what you want to do is you want to run your knife along the whole bean lengthways, just making a cut in the skin. It's okay if you go all the way through, but try not to. Makes it easier if it's just one continuous piece. Okay, so once you've done that, you want to flatten it out, assuming that you've cut all the way through. Flatten it out like so. And then take the back of your knife, this part, not the sharp part, and scrape it along the inside of the bean. Now what I'm going to do with these vanilla bean seeds, you can see they're kind of like a paste, I'm going to put them right into our milk so that that vanilla bean flavor can start to infuse. This is 3 cups of whole milk from Strauss Creamery. Let's get the other side. Oops. Alright, now with the vanilla bean skin, this is really potent. It's got a lot of vanilla flavor. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut it in half and toss it in here in a jar of organic evaporated cane juice. Now, I'm going to close this jar up, and in no time at all that vanilla bean flavor is going to infuse into the sugar, and we'll have vanilla sugar, which we can use in tea and coffee and baked goods and cereal, whatever we want. It'll be super yummy. Okay, next step. I have taken these BarbaryBrix caramels out of their wrappers. I'm going to go ahead and toss the wrappers right here in this compost pail because they are home compostable. What I'm going to do with these guys, cut them up into small pieces, about 1/4. You can add as many caramels as you want. So if you like a ton of caramel flavor in there, great, then go nuts. If you just want a little bit, then just do a few pieces. I'm doing about 12 pieces. And once I'm done, I'm going to set them aside. Alright, now it's time to make our custard. So I am separating my eggs. I have 3 whole eggs in here and a couple of yolks. So the easiest way to do it is to crack your egg on a flat surface like this. And put your fingers in here and make the egg shell come apart in 2 halves. And let the white fall away from the shell. The yolk will fall to the bottom of the shell. And then just kind of toss them back and forth until as much of the white as possible comes away from the yolk. Super easy. Then toss your yolk in with your other eggs, and your shell's right there in the compost. Alright, I'm going to save these egg whites that I've separated for breakfast tomorrow. They can save up to 4 days in the fridge. Alright, so you can use a mixer if you'd like, or a hand mixer, a stand mixer, whatever you got, or if you don't have anything, you can just whisk it. Super easy. So I'm just going to whisk these up until they're a little bit frothy. You know, about a minute or so. Once they're good and mixed, I'm going to go ahead and slowly add in our milk, which includes our vanilla bean, as I whisk. This is 3 cups of whole milk. I can see those vanilla bean seeds floating around, little black specks. They look awesome. Okay. This is exactly 16 ounces or 2 cups of heavy whipping cream. You can use all whole milk if you like. You can use fat-free milk. You can use soy milk. You can use almond milk. You can use just about anything. Just think about the fat content. That's going to determine how rich the pudding is. And also think about the liquid. If it's real watery like a soy milk, you're going to want to use less so it doesn't get soupy. Alright, we're going to add 3/4 teaspoon of salt. I'm just going to eyeball it here. But feel free to measure. It's not going to ruin your recipe if you overdo it or underdo it. We're going to also add some cinnamon. You can add as much or as little cinnamon as you like. It's really up to you how cinnamon-y you like your bread pudding, if at all. Okay, last thing you want to add is your sugar. You can add it with the eggs. That's what a lot of people would do. I like to add it at the end. It's just personal preference. I'm going to add 3/4 cup, and I'm going to do a combination of organic evaporated cane juice, which is a real mild sugar, and then also some coconut palm sugar, which is a little bit more molassesy, but it's really low glycemic. The great thing about these sugars is that they are very minimally processed, so they have enzymes and micronutrients that help your body actually process the sugars, so you don't get that big spike in blood sugar like you would with a corn syrup or a highly processed cane sugar. If you do decide to substitute for a syrup like agave or maple or honey, that's just fine. Just decrease the amount of cream that you use so you have less liquid in the mixture. Okay. 3/4 cup of sugar. I'm just going to kind of mix this up until the sugar's pretty well mixed in and dissolved. But be careful not to overbeat your custard. Okay, that's it. Custard's done. How easy was that? Okay, we're almost done. Right here I have the butter that I melted. I'm going to go ahead and just drizzle that over this toasted challah bread. It's nice and dried out. And I'm just going to drizzle a little bit and then kind of mix it up, toss it with my hands just to get it good and coated in here. Do another drizzle. If you like really buttery food, it would not be a bad idea to use extra butter. It's up to you, but you won't hurt the recipe if you do more than 4 tablespoons, which is about half a stick. But be sure to use sweet butter. The salted butter just doesn't, it's not going to have the same flavor. Okay. Almost done here. Alright, our toasty challah bread is coated with butter now. We're going to go ahead and add in 1/2 cup of pecans. I just broke those up with my hands. Do about 1/3 cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips. And then our BarbaryBrix caramel that we cut into quarters. This is about 1/2 cup to 3/4 cup. And like I said before, use as much as you want, or as little as you want. We're just going to get that good and mixed in here as well. Alright, so I have here a Pyrex baking sheet that it's 9 by 13. I coated it with a little of our melted butter. I'm going to go ahead and put this whole bread and goodie mixture in here. And it's a good idea to kind of make sure that all the little goodies don't just fall right to the bottom. So make sure they're pretty evenly distributed with the bread. Alright, so that's the base of our bread pudding. We've got our sweets in here, and we're ready to just pour our custard over the top. So here's our custard that we made earlier, super easy. I'm just going to go ahead and pour it in. These little pieces of bread are going to act like sponges, and they're just going to drink it up, and that's exactly what you want. So make sure you get it in there pretty evenly. And as you go, you can kind of smush it down, make sure all the bread gets in that custard. All right. Okay. I'm going to cover this up and I'm going to put it in the fridge. I'm going to leave it for a couple hours and then we're going to come back and cook it. We're back. So we had a nice dinner, enjoyed a few glasses of wine, and now it's time for dessert. So I pulled out my bread pudding, which I've covered in a natural wax paper. That's my preference. It's compostable. I like it, but you know, whatever you've covered in it is fine. So I'm going to peel back the paper here. You can see the bread pudding is looking good. Those little pieces of bread really acted like sponges, like we wanted them to, and they've got all the custard really in there. So I've got my oven preheating. It's been at 350, and I'm just going to toss this in. All right, good. So that needs to cook for about 35-40 minutes until it's cooked all the way through, and it's kind of crusty and golden on top. Ooh, check out that bubbling caramel. Alright, I just pulled this out of the oven. It's looking amazing. We're going to let it rest for a few minutes and then we're going to plate it up and serve it warm. There. Alright. Now for the moment of truth. The taste test with my lovely assistant, Miss Sarah Horning.
Oh my god. Oh my god. This shit is good. It's good.
Do you think that people should make it for their friends?
Oh my god. It's so delicious. If you want to be the most awesome friend ever. Do you want to be nice to your friends? Do you like your friends? Do you love your friends? If you don't, then you won't make this. It's good. It's hot though. You gotta let it cool for a second. Holla! Holla!